Today's episode is brought to you by the Whole Life Decluttering Workshop, featuring a proprietary 6-step system, the Simple System, to help you declutter your life in a way that will last. Purchase this workshop on demand and receive the video training and dedicated workbook at positivelyproductive.com/resources. While I understand the urge to smack someone who says, just breathe, it's about as good as, hey, calm down. Like, when in the history of calming down has anyone calmed down because you said calm down? Don't tell me to breathe. But I promise you, it's more about the dismissive use of the word just than it is the actual advice, which is good. We need to breathe, and we need to breathe in specific ways in order to calm our body down. You're listening to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zawrotny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and we're continuing our conversation from last week's episode where we talked about stress and I shared 10 fun and easy ways to reduce stress response. I explained how each can calm our nervous system and boost our mood, but there's more to it. Today, you'll find out the science behind why those tips work so well. It has to do with a specific nerve in the body that helps us regulate stress. Have you heard the phrase, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Well, you won't be able to hear that phrase the same way again after today's episode. I know I can't. It'll have new meaning for you and kind of the opposite meaning as we review something called the vagus nerve. Before we continue, please note I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, so what I share today isn't medical advice. It's general information on a topic I've researched about simple things you can try to help you live a better life. I welcome you to take what interests you, research it further on your own, and check with a healthcare professional. The vagus nerve is the longest of the cranial nerves, starting at the base of your brain, connecting your throat, ear, and facial muscles, then traveling down both sides of the neck to the heart and lungs. Then it goes through the stomach and intestines. Interestingly, vagus, spelled V-A-G-U-S, means wandering in Latin, which makes sense when you consider where this nerve travels in your body. The vagus nerve acts as a communication channel connecting the digestive system and your brain, which means it's responsible for your gut feelings, so to speak. And perhaps most importantly, it helps your nervous system switch between the sympathetic mode, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic mode, rest and digest. I've discussed our nervous system response and vacillation between the modes of fight or flight and rest and digest in many podcast episodes, especially the stress-specific ones. And while we do seek calm in a world that is hectic and pushes us to chronic stress response, the most important thing for us is regulation of stress for different purposes. Sometimes we need to fight, and sometimes we need to rest. And it's essential to be able to switch back and forth between the two. We can get better at that if we know more about the special nerve that helps us do that. When you have issues with the vagus nerve, you may experience symptoms of burnout, such as emotional exhaustion and lack of energy, which is a common experience for my fellow caregivers. This is because when we deal with chronic stress, the vagus nerve can lose its ability to effectively switch your body back into parasympathetic mode, the rest and digest state. This means you might find it difficult to calm down and instead feel stuck in a state of overdrive. This condition is sometimes referred to as vagal dysfunction. And when you're in this state, you become more susceptible to health issues that can include high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, and gastrointestinal disorders. If you're interested in learning more about these specific health problems and the link to stress, I delve into it more in episode 180, What Stress Really Is and How to Manage It. Are you ready for some good news? The vagus nerve can be stimulated and strengthened. And when you improve its function, it will not only switch you back and forth between stress modes better, it'll help you with proper digestion. And it's been shown to be anti-inflammatory, which means it can help boost your immune system and help you feel better overall. And because this is the Positively Living podcast, after all, I have even more good news. Strengthening the vagus nerve is easier than you might think, and you already know quite a few things that will help. You're probably doing them, so hopefully this will encourage you to keep doing them. By virtue of giving you tips to reduce stress, like in last week's episode, you have ways to strengthen the vagus nerve. For today's episode, we'll simplify it even more. The first tip has to do with breathing. While I understand the urge to smack someone who says, just breathe, it's about as good as, hey, calm down. Like, when in the history of calming down has anyone calmed down because you said calm down? Don't tell me to breathe. But I promise you, it's more about the dismissive use of the word just than it is the actual advice, which is good. We need to breathe, and we need to breathe in specific ways in order to calm our body down. So, what it has to do with the vagus nerve is that there are sensory receptors in the lungs that connect to the vagus nerve and trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. So, deep, calming breaths are not only instinctive when we're upset, but they're the key to helping us. You probably know that yoga is known for stress reduction. And within yoga, there's meditation. So, it's all connected. And there are variations on the theme. You have breathing and you have body position. There's even an industry now dedicated to breath work, where facilitators will help you strengthen your breathing to do so in various ways depending upon what you need. In this case, we want to calm the stress response. So I'll give you a tip that is my all-time favorite. I get the best response from my clients about this one. I've gotten the most feedback about it because it's so simple, yet so effective. When you take that deep breath as you try to calm down, go longer on the exhale. When I work with clients, we often take a few seconds to do this in each session, and I will start them simply with an inhale count to 3 and an exhale count to 6. Would you like to try it? I'll count for you. And when you do it, inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Are you ready? Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How does that feel? It was such a quick thing to do, and you can do it just about anywhere, right? Try it as you go throughout your day, whether in response to feeling stressed or simply as a matter of transitioning to focus on the next thing and working on it as a habit. So one of the things that can help is you can use or pretend to use a straw to blow out the air, or pretend you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. I know that always helps me focus. So sometimes doing that kind of focus and pursing your lips can help you exhale more. My personal favorite is blowing into a soda bottle to get a sound. I suspect that being a musician, especially having played trombone and being a singer, has helped me do a lot of this naturally. I used to train myself in diaphragmatic breathing. That's deep belly breathing instead of the more shallow shoulder breathing that we do instinctively. And I would do this by lying down and placing books on my stomach, and I would watch them rise and fall as a way to know that I was breathing deeply and controlling my breath. Today, I probably use the long exhale technique the most in everyday life, and it's a habit to purse my lips and blow out. And on stressful days, I can be so dangerous in a room full of candles. The second tip for today has to do with sounds. The vagus nerve passes through the inner ear, so you can stimulate it by engaging in active listening to soothing sounds. Soothing music like you'd find in guided meditation or maybe on a playlist like one that I will mention in a moment are great examples of your classic soothing sound, but you could also find this in an audiobook or a podcast. If someone has a soothing voice to you, it can have a similar effect. I know that my youngest child listens to a podcast, and it's funny because the topic is not necessarily that soothing, but the narrator has a wonderfully soothing voice. And it's in a British accent, which is a plus in my book. So even the production sound is interesting and very calming because it mimics an old tape recorder. And I feel like there's some white noise going on. And all together, it becomes a very soothing thing to listen to. And I think he gravitates toward that for that reason. If you want to take this approach up a notch, it's even better when you create the sound. Whether you hum to yourself or sing loud and proud in the shower, you're actually tapping into the vagus nerve as it passes through your larynx and pharynx in your throat. So you get even more of the benefit. And as a bonus, when you sing, you often exhale longer as a result. So you can start layering some of these techniques to get even more benefit. If you follow me on Instagram, positively_Lisa, you know my love of music and performing. I find music to be multifunctional and absolutely essential for our mental well being. It can be engaging and energizing, and also soothing and a way to help you focus. And while I've been doing this for a while in a more professional setting and performing music, I highly encourage the casual side of it. Have fun with this. Remember that singing on key isn't essential to stimulating the vagus nerve, and that a crazy night of karaoke has the benefit of social support and laughter as well. And that's my kind of stress management. There are many other potential ways to stimulate and therefore strengthen the vagus nerve. Some common ones include cold exposure. You may have heard of that. Massage makes sense because of how it reduces stress in the body, and other classic stress response activities like yoga. And if any of these interest you, I would encourage you to research them, talk to friends, and then talk to your health practitioner and figure out what makes the most sense for you. Because again, this is the kind of thing you want to do on repeat. This is a practice. It becomes a habit and it becomes a way for you to protect yourself against stress. As a reminder, I have many suggestions and resources for doing fun things that can help. On the podcast page of the positivelyproductive.com website, you'll find a stress management playlist of episodes, and on Spotify at positively_Lisa, the same handle as my Instagram, you'll find lots of music playlists. One in particular that you might appreciate is a playlist I made that I mentioned earlier of George Winston songs. He's a piano player. It's these gorgeous instrumentation. It's arpeggiated piano. It's instrumental only, and I find it so relaxing. I often request his music when I'm getting a massage. I will link to that playlist in the show notes. Whichever you choose, the idea behind each practice is that they're repeated as a habit to help you increase what's called your vagal tone, which is a measure of the vagus nerve activity. And you want this because a higher vagal tone is generally associated with better health and resilience to stress. As I said in last week's episode, stress isn't going anywhere. So it's up to us to figure out how to handle it, how to live well with it. In the list of 10 things I gave you, you'll find so many connections to the vagus nerve, and I'm curious which ones you picked up on immediately. Message me and let me know. What reduces stress often strengthens the nerve, so this is a win-win all around for us. And if you'd like a list of the 10 tips to reduce stress, you can go to positivelyproductive.com/stress to request a printout and a graphic with summaries. And you can find that and all kinds of other freebies on the resources page of the positivelyproductive.com website as well. My goal here is to be the antidote to your stress. So as you can see, what happens in the vagus nerve does not stay there. Okay, I couldn't resist. I'll see myself out, and it's a good thing because we're wrapping up anyhow. But the fact that it doesn't stay there is a good thing. So I'm curious, which way are you going to activate your vagus nerve today and help your body de-stress? Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. If you have feedback or questions, you can find me through the Connect page of the positivelyproductive.com website. And if you're looking for any of the resources mentioned here, from books to products to training and more, go to positivelyproductive.com/resources.